Time for a hip hop vlog. We done our research today, y'all. You wanna know how I know hip hop the way I know hip hop? I'm gonna break this shit down for y'all. Alright? So it was roughly probably around 12, 13. First time I heard some Full Force and some Roxanne, UTFO. We're self-titled Roxanne, and some Nucleus, some Jam on It, and some Sugar Hill Gang. It was pretty much what it was known as hip hop back in the day. You know, they didn't have a whole lot. Hip hop wasn't too well known. The disco era was just puttering to an end. Parliament was on some OG shit right there. They were rolling it. They were fucking laying foundations, along with James Brown was laying foundations that a lot of hip hop would pick up on and bring into being. And then all of a sudden you get MC Breed and the DFC, what ain't no future in your front, come along, and that shit's come smoking hard. It was fire. Anybody that was into hip hop or rap, that shit was blasted full tilt everywhere. It didn't matter what set it was on. That shit was getting bumped. Two Live Crew come along, was nasty as they want to be. But before all that, Public Enemy had My Uzi Weighs a Ton. Oh yeah, and they had that Yo Bum Rush the Show, and then Fear of a Black Planet. At the time I was fucking with it, my good friend, my best friend, he turned me on to heavy metal. We were all thicking through the heavy metal for a long grip. But we was also playing around with Beastie Boys, Public Enemy, and you know, Chuck D, Flavor Flav, and all them was just tearing up the set. And then NWA, they come along, and they was one of the most dangerous band at the time, so they declared. Their shit was on point, on top. That was what was happening. The boom boxes were everywhere. The cars were thumping. The Cadillacs had the flickering taillights back in the day. You don't see that shit no more. You know.
The ones that had the ghetto boxes and shit.
And the hydraulics.
We're up for the boom boxes. I call them ghetto boxes.
Hip hop evolved some more. You know, the years went on, and they had some Cypress Hill, some Be Real come up in there with Hand on the Pump. How I Could Just Kill a Man. You know, and a Steady Mobbin'. And then you had Del, the Funky Homo Sapien, and Mr. Davalina.
Mr. Davalina.
Funky old school tracks, man.
Now you're going way back.
Hip hop had some humble beginnings. It started out with the break dance, and you know, everybody was out there on their little mats doing their break dances, the head spins and the breaks. And you know, that Chris Blow with the breaks.
Almost broke my leg, yeah.
I never got into the break dance. I was not a coordinated white boy. And, you know, first of all, we come raised up in a neighborhood where it was predominantly white. When I was a little kid, like way under the age of 7. But then we moved, and we moved down to the hood. It was in South Central Minneapolis. It was like right on the fray. And it was to the fucking west, it was the Indian Reservation. And then to the north, actually to the west, I think it was East Lake. Yeah, we was on East Lake down there. And to the west lake was the Central Hood, and that was where a lot of the crack houses were. That's when that shit was running rampant up through the MPL, and the cops was busting up crack houses left and right, bum rushing them with their fucking big old ram bars. And, you know, my aunt lived down there, right south central, all that mess. I mean, it was kind of a scary neighborhood to go walk around at night for anybody, didn't matter what color or background you was. You know, the crackheads are out there. They were flipping motherfuckers on the block for anything they got. And you know what? Being from around that way, people knew me, and I was well known throughout, and I didn't have to worry about all that shit up in there all that much. I mean, I had to tussle with a few people along up and through there, and it wasn't of no particular race or color or ethnicity. I can't pronounce that word, but anyway.
Ethnicity?
Then over the south side of Minneapolis, there's my other friend, Mike Dyson. He spent a grip in the stint for a minute for some other over there shit, killing all motherfuckers. But he got me into some ultramagnetic MCs, some Rodney O. Joe Cooley, some fucking Kumo D, some LL Cool J, and who else you get it up into? We get into some Naughty by Nature. Not because I hate you.
Into the rap.
Then you had Bobby Brown way back up in there at MC Slamburger Head. Then, of course, the one breakthrough white boy of the whole mix and all, Vanilla Ice. He come up in there with his To the Extreme and Ice Ice Baby. But you know, on that one album, he had an underrated goat track called Hooked. Some of y'all may be familiar with it, some of y'all might not be familiar with it, but you know what? My roots are from the upper Midwest into the hip-hop. I wasn't all too familiar with the West Coast, the East Coast, Queensbridge, all that. You know, I know New York hip-hop, they claiming to be the purest, you know, trying to say, you know, that's where it all coming up in the two from. But you know what? A little bit of hip-hop come from every part, every walk of this country. It wasn't one particular fucking region that owned all on for pure hip-hop. I can't say that with any degree of accuracy, but I do know this. Where you come from has a big play on who hip-hop is in your book to be the originators. I myself, again, the EPMD, the old school, the fucking DFC, Eric B. Rakim by himself. The Wu-Tang for me came along much later in life, about probably toward the 90s, you know, when I was just on the edge of getting sober, and I was out of hip-hop for a long stretch, y'all. I didn't fuck with hip-hop at all. I mean, I was all into everything else, but it was just because of people I was around.
You're the one that got me into it.
But once I got straight on the way, and like away from it all, and I got down here now, we was in northern Iowa, and you know what? A lot of these motherfuckers around here, for them, their golden era hip-hop is from the late 90s on up into right now. And that's not golden era for the real heads. The real true hip-hop heads will tell you, the golden era is not now. The perception of the youth now that is the golden era now, which is not, is the golden era is back, in the back, to the way back, to from 88, and the early even years 81.
Yeah.
On up to probably roughly around 91, and you know, there's a few cats that slid up in there between 95 and 98 that had some shit that was rooted into the golden era.
I'm cool.
You're cold? What about the rev up his vlog? See, I just want to bring you all up to speed on where I'm at with hip-hop, because a lot of people don't really know my roots. They don't know my beginnings.
Yes.
And my beginnings ain't necessarily the foundation for it. But my knowledge is very vast, very deep, and I'm more into hip-hop than a lot of people would ever even imagine. So, you know, I ain't say that I'm 100% point on. I ain't trying to be. Yeah, I've turned my wife on to lots of hip-hop because I am hip-hop. You know, I'm hip-hop from the inside out, and I don't care. I ain't putting on a show. I ain't trying to be something I'm not. But you know what? Hip-hop is what I am. Hip-hop's what I'm going to be. I represent, and I stand true with it. So, with that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment down below. Smash that subscribe button, and we'll bring you plenty more. So, until next time, everybody. Peace out and stay true to your game.